Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lainey. Thank you so much for stopping by. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about my 2022 makeup favorites. So if you're interested in seeing that, then just keep on watching. Before we get into that though, if you're new here, please remember to hit that subscribe button and let's hop into the video. I am very excited to be doing a 2022 makeup favorites. I'm going to be talking about the makeup that I've tried this year, whether it's new or old, that just have become my favorites. I don't think I did one of these last year, so I'm really excited to be doing it this year. And I don't want this to be super long, so I'm going to try to move through these pretty fast and just tell you why I like it. So for primer, I didn't really use a lot of primers this year. I was working on pretty much 2 primers all year long, trying to use them, but I have to say the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Primer is probably one of my favorite primers of all time. I just love how it extends the life of my makeup and grips it to my skin, and it just does a really great job at priming the skin. I actually finished this today, so I didn't quite finish this in my Partners in Cream project pan, but I did finish it before the new year, so that is super exciting, and I'm not going to be repurchasing it. I have 2 other gripping style primers in my collection that I need to get rid of or use up. But I could see myself repurchasing this in the future. So next up I have my glow category. So multi-use glowy kind of products that you can use on your face, and I have to give it to my Auric Glow Lust. This is my favorite. It is just the best product that I've tried that I kind of categorize in this way, that I can use in the most amount of ways. So I really like using this as a primer, like on top of something like the Milk Hydro Grip, or I will use it mixed in with primer. I will use it mixed in with foundation. I will use it on top of foundation. I don't really use this as foundation. I know, like, you know, like the Charlotte Tilbury, some people will use it as an all-over kind of perfecting product. I don't like to use it in this way. I find this just a little bit too shiny for that. But overall, this is just a really nice glowy product. I've used this a ton. I bought this last year, like midway last year. I have some windowing in this. And I know I've thrown this into projects before, but it's not something I've like tried to pan to finish. And I don't think I'm going to do that, but it's just something I constantly reach for, and I expect to have this around, even though I use it a lot at the end of 2023, just because you get a lot of product in here. Now, when we're talking about foundation, if you've been watching my channel this year, you know that this year was the year of foundation. I went through 4 foundations, and I'm very close to finishing a 5th one. I don't think it's going to be done by the end of the year, but I do think it'll be done like 1st or 2nd week of January. But even though I've been finishing a lot of foundations this year, I've still at the same time been able to use the other foundations that I'm not working on. And while I loved a lot of the foundations I panned this year, nothing compares to my Lisa Eldridge Seamless Skin Foundation. I have the shade 5, and this is my favorite foundation of all time. It is just so beautiful on the skin. It's so lightweight. It's a medium coverage, but you can kind of build it up in areas where you want a little bit more coverage. You can also sheer it out. But it is just beautiful. It's so lightweight, but it's perfecting. It doesn't look drying. I would call this more of like a demi-matte. I wouldn't say that it's matte, but it's also not glowy by any means. Now you can customize that by mixing it in with a glowy kind of mix-in product, but overall this is just my favorite go-to product. I know it's going to last on my skin all day long, and I just can't go wrong with it. So I really like this. It's pricey, but I think it's worth it in my opinion. And we'll see if this continues to reign my favorite. I may or may not have bought the new Makeup by Mario foundation. We'll see if that, it just sounds like a lovely foundation. So I'm like, I was very good this year and finished a lot, so I can treat myself to a new foundation. So we'll see if that dethrones it. When it comes to concealer, I pretty much exclusively used my panning concealers, but there was one that I wasn't trying to, I did have it in a project, but I wasn't trying to finish it, and that is my Bare Minerals Bare Pro Concealer. And unfortunately, I think this is getting discontinued or reformulated. I said in a previous video recently about how I don't know what's going on with them. A lot of their products, they're not restocking. It seems like they're discontinuing it. It looks like they have a new parent company, so I think they're kind of rebranding or something. I hope this comes back. This is me and my mom. We both love this foundation, or this concealer. And what I really love this for is for spot concealing. So this has a really great coverage. I think things that are in a stick form or in a pot form have really great coverage for acne, and I really like this. The color match isn't my favorite for acne, but if I put it on under foundation, it does exactly what I want it to do, and I have no problem doing that. So I really enjoy it. I guess let me show it to you. It's just in a stick form like this. I will either apply it directly to my skin, or like if I'm doing acne, like acne scars. But if I'm doing like acne specifically, I will apply it to a brush and then apply it to my face. Now, when it comes to powder, I actually don't have my favorite of the year, and that's because I finished it, and that is the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter powder. This is just my favorite powder because I can set my eyes, I can set my face. It's not too mattifying, but it's not too glowy. It's just overall a great multi-use powder that I can use for whatever look I'm going for. And I had the mini and it lasted a really long time, so I feel like the full size will last forever. I am trying to get through my kimchi powder, but I do plan on repurchasing in the future unless some new powder comes out and I would like to try that out. If I look different, it's because I just went out with the dogs to take them outside. I think Pop-Tart had to go to the bathroom, and we're still potty training her a little bit. She's mostly got it under control, but she's still having a few accidents here and there, so I'm still going outside with her. But I don't remember where she started getting super noisy, so I'm just gonna restart with my cheek products, and hopefully that covers the majority of it. So for highlights, it's really hard to say because I've been mostly focusing on Flexitarian and Ozone all year long, which I would say is one of my favorites from this year. I've had this for a while, but this is just my favorite powder highlighter. I think it just gives the nicest glow on the cheeks that doesn't look too unnatural, and it's just a really gorgeous highlighter, and I have been genuinely enjoying panning this. So yeah, I would definitely consider Nabla Ozone to be a favorite from this year. On the cream side front, I feel like I've been reaching for this more the latter half of the year, and that is my Lisa Eldridge Elevated Glow in the shade Crystal Nebula. This just gives the most natural, hydrated look to the cheeks. It's so gorgeous. Unlike really any other highlighter I have, just because it truly makes you look hydrated and glowy from being hydrated, and not because you put a lot of like a product with mica on your cheeks. It just gives the most natural, like plump, hydrated, juicy look to your cheeks, and it's just a really, really good one. For cream blush, I have been loving the Tower 28 Beach Please blush in the shade Magic Hour. This is just my favorite go-to everyday blush. I can go with any color I look, whether it's warm, neutral, cool, whether it's blue, green, purple, whatever color it is, I can wear this blush. I'm really looking forward to panning this next year, and if I could only pick one blush, it would probably be this one right now. Another cream blush I've been really enjoying is my Phytosurgeons blushes, and I have 3 shades. I really enjoy them. Fume is kind of in a similar vein to Magic Hour, maybe a little less pink, but I really enjoy this one. I also have the shade Simmer. This is like a bright pink. The only thing I don't like about these are that they crystallize on top. That is apparently super normal. I contacted the brand, and that is not mold. It is, in fact, crystallized product. That can happen with temperature changes, and I am facing a outdoor wall, so not surprising. And then I also have the shade Smolder, which is probably my favorite, and this is like I call this a fall peach shade. It's not like a bright punchy peach you would think of like that you'd wear in the springtime, but it is more muted apricot-y peach kind of shade. So really enjoy this cream blush formula. I know they're not available across the globe, but if you can get your hands on these, I highly recommend them. Now for powder blushes, one I have been reaching for time and time again this year is my Menagerie Arthurine blush in the shade Persimmon. This is again one of those blushes that I feel like I can wear whenever, like with whatever eye look I'm wearing. It just kind of goes with whatever, and it's just a really nice kind of, it's looking a little bit more pinky on camera, but I feel like it has a little bit more peachiness to it when I get it on my cheeks, and it's just an all-around good blush for whatever look I'm going for. And then another blush formula that I've been really enjoying is actually from Lethal Cosmetics. Now, when I first got this blush formula, it was not one of my favorites. I liked it, but I'm not like, oh my god, it's my favorite blush formula in the world. It's amazing. But I've come to really enjoy this, and I found myself just reaching for this blush formula again and again and again. I can't remember the blush names. I believe this is Tendril and this is Blossom, but I could be wrong. And what I find myself doing a lot is actually mixing these two together. This is such a soft formula and it just blends beautifully on the cheeks. It looks really natural, and natural in the sense it doesn't look powdery. And it's just a great powder to reach for. I've been really enjoying it and I highly recommend it. That segues well into bronzer, so I'll start out with powder bronzers, and I've been mostly focusing on my e.l.f. one and then I'm panning, but the Lethal Cosmetics bronzer in the shade Atlas is one of my favorites. This is a great Goldilocks kind of bronzer shade for me. It's not too warm, it's not too cool, it is perfect. And again, I just think this formula really lends itself well to a nice soft diffused bronzer look, which is what I really like. I don't like my bronzer to look super obvious. I like it to look just like it's a natural shade on my skin, and I can really achieve that with this palette. And I really like that I have everything in one go. I do have some highlights from them. They're not my favorite highlighters, but I could always pop one in here, like if I wanted to pop out the orange and have a nice face palette to take with me wherever I'm going. So those are my cheek products. Let's talk about eyeshadow, my favorite, and then we'll end with lips. I'm not gonna go over like eye primer and eyeliner or mascara. I'm just gonna talk about my most impressive stuff. And so I limited myself to 2 eyeshadow palettes to include in this video. And I would say if I have one favorite purchase from 2023, it is the Glaminatrix Nocturnal palette. This is by far the favorite thing I bought this year. My favorite eyeshadow to reach for. I've just been really enjoying it. Mine looks like a hot mess because many of the shades came broken, and I know I could have emailed them and been like, hey, these shadows are broken, and they would have sent replacements, but I got this like right before I moved and I just didn't have time, and I was able to honestly just smush them back into the pan and they're perfectly fine. So honestly, I would rather not have wasted the product anyway. But this is just like me in a palette. Like these are my favorite colors to wear. This quad at the end I wore all the time in fall, and these shades are just so beautiful, and most of them have some sort of shift to them. Well worth the price, well worth the shipping price to the States, and the matte formula is beautiful. It just blends itself. It is gorgeous. This is the only palette I've tried from them. The Glamorous palette, I like the colors of it, but I know I already own those shades. And then the Nearly Natural palette, I just wouldn't get my money's worth out of it. So I'm really excited to see what they're gonna release in 2023. I know they talked about doing a Nocturnal 2 palette, and then they sneak peeked a shade the other day for their first palette in 2023, and it looks gorgeous. So I cannot wait to see what Glaminatrix releases next year. The second palette that I picked as my second favorite palette of the year is the Fantasy Cosmetica Druid palette. So I ended up picking this up a few months ago along with the Sorcerer palette, and this one is my favorite of the two. I found some of the shades in the Sorcerer palette to crease on me, but this one is perfect. I love the color story. I love that it has some really pretty shifting shades, but then you have a couple more really beautiful metallics that look really foiled on the lids, and there's just something a little bit special about them. And then the matte formula is really, really nice and blendable. I love the color story that you get in this 9 pan. You can do a lot of different looks with it. What I've really come to appreciate are 9 pans that have a lot of variety to them rather than being monochromatic. And I just really, really enjoy what the brand is doing here. And these, especially these two shimmers, Balance and Transformation, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful metallics or duochromes. So really, really happy with this palette, and I'm excited to see what else they come out with. I do really want the Bard palette, but I didn't end up picking it up. And then I did pick one single shadow formula that I've just been absolutely loving this year, and I decided to go with my Clionadh Stained Glass Expansion shades. So when they did the expansion, I did end up picking up one of these palettes, and these are sturdy. They are really hefty palettes. So I really do love this palette. And then I've got all my Clionadh shades here. I've got a few shades not from Clionadh at the top that I need to use. And then I bought 4 new shades during their Black Friday sale. But I have the expansion shades mixed in with the shades I had previously. I need to reorganize this, but my single shadows are a work in progress right now. But if I could only pick one shade, it would be this one down here. This is a Mural. It's like a green to peach shift, and it is the most beautiful shadow in my collection. I love the shade, I adore the shade, and I just really love and adore my Clionadh shadows. I mean, I hope that they look well loved, and I cannot wait to use these more next year. They're stunning, I love them so much, and these have been my favorite single shadow formula this year, so really happy with these. All right, so let's end the year with lip products. You can probably guess what these are going to be. So for gloss, I have two formulas. One I'm wearing right now, and the other you've heard me talk about before. First off, the Linner Beauty lip glosses. So I have the shade Bitchcraft right here, and I actually wouldn't recommend this color, but all the other colors that I've tried, is it Luna and Coven, I believe. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. They're very, very hydrating, and they give almost like a glassy look to the lips. They kind of just, if you have really dry lips, they're perfect because it just kind of covers everything and hydrates at the same time. The only thing I don't like about these is that I go through them so fast because I love them so much and I keep reapplying them and use them like lip balm. But this is a really, really great formula, and I would really like to try their lip oils. But that's a really great formula. And then, of course, the Lisa Eldridge Gloss Embrace. I'm actually wearing one right now. It's actually worn away as I've been talking. But this is in the shade Cinnabar, and I just love how hydrating these are. I would love Lisa Eldridge to come out with a clear shade so I could use it like a balm. These are not cheap, but they are very well worth the price in my opinion. I find that they last a really long time. The stoppers, I usually don't take stoppers out of glosses, but these are expensive. The stoppers are very, very easy to take out of, which is why I don't normally take stoppers out of products. But they're very easy to take out of, and you just need to get like a Q-tip or a lip brush to get the remaining product out. And I highly recommend these. These are very much more like a gloss balm hybrid, and you cannot go wrong with this formula. It's beautiful. I just wish she would have more sheer shades. I would love that. And then of course, for lipstick, of course, Lisa Eldridge Velvets. I love this formula. It is my favorite by far. I think it's just a great long-lasting matte formula, and what Lisa Eldridge does so well is color. She just has her undertones down pat. She has such an eye for color, and I find that if you are looking for a pretty unique shade, you can find that in her range. She has a wide range of colors from neutrals to brights, and you just can't go wrong with her lipsticks. The shade I pulled out for this video is Affair. This is by far my most used one, and this is just a great neutral, like kind of caramely brown, and I really, really enjoy it. I think it's a great color. But that was the last favorite I had to show you. I would love to hear your favorites, whether you want to tell me all of your favorites from all of the categories or just a few top purchases from this year. What are your makeup favorites? What should I be trying in 2023? I love makeup. I love trying new makeup, but I'm trying to keep it to a minimum. And overall, I've been really happy with the products that I've tried this year. I love these things, and I can't wait to see what becomes my favorite in 2023. That is all I have for you today. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you like down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!